What's up, guys? Philly Soccer Page postgame show. I'm Mike Servideo here with Kevin Kincaid. Union draw LA Galaxy 2-2 at home. Keegan Rosenberry rescues the point with his first MLS goal. Kev, your reaction on the draw?
Yeah, I think my takeaway was, the fact that they went down. They had the lead, and then they lost the lead, and LA scored two really good goals, and they still got something out of it. Because at the end of the day, you're saying, it was a draw, whatever, they got a point. Did they drop 2 points? Do you feel happy about it? Are you sad about it? Are you somewhere in between? To me, it was the fact that, you saw where they were at some points in the game. Especially after that second Galaxy goal, sort of like right to start the half, and you're thinking, well, here we go. Because in games past, we had seen, when they played them here in 2013, it was 1-1 at the halftime, and then I think LA scored like three second half goals. So you're sort of wondering for a minute where it could have been. But that's the difference, I think, is how they sort of responded to the second LA goal for sure.
It came up a couple of times in the press conference with different people, different coaches. Is it 2 points dropped, or is it 1 point gain for the Union tonight, really? I mean, tough LA team.
I don't know. I really don't know. I guess it's somewhere in between, right? Because
they had the chances to win it.
Yeah, there was a big chunk of time there where they were just pushing and pushing and pushing. The Chris Pontius one where he he beats Rodgers and hits one just wide, and Ilsinho had little stepovers there where he beats Van Damme, and then he gets in and he hits one just wide. I guess collectively when you look at the amount of chances that they created in the second half and that chunk of like 25 minutes where they were really pushing the game and LA kind of switched up and made two defensive subs there, I guess you could say they dropped 2 points. It's hard to say you dropped 2 points when you were down 2-1
to probably
50 minutes into the game.
league.
Yeah, but I can understand that. I think people who say that, I would agree with them.
Let's talk a little bit about Keegan Rosenberry. He scored the goal. Involved all night, though. Played pretty well defensively. Maybe at fault a little bit on the LA second goal. I have to watch it back still.
Yeah.
But what did you think of his play tonight?
He's been good going forward from the beginning of the year. There's never been a question of can he attack and can he hit crosses into the box, and it's always the only question has been the defensive stuff. The set piece, like he said up here, I think the quote was, right place, right time. You just got to finish it, and the fact that Chris Pontius again gets up and knocks one down. You look at all the people in that team, and you don't peg him as being the one who's going to get on the end of all these things, but he just has an innate sense for finding the ball, and timing, which is what we talked about on the KYW soccer show. It's just like his this veteran timing of knowing when he has to get up to meet the ball, or whether it's coming in on a run, but. Now Rosenberry was good. I don't think there was a ton he could do on the second LA goal because they're moving the ball from side to side so fast. It's a one hit finish anyway. But no, I especially like when he's out there with Ilsinho because the interchange between the two of them and the understanding, especially in those 2v2 situations where they're kind of isolated, is really fun to watch. So he's still a rookie, 8 games in, and we're talking about him being rookie of the year. So
yeah. One of the other things that we talked about on the podcast yesterday was the atmosphere in the stadium. I was a little bit critical after the San Jose game, but I thought that was easily the best atmosphere of the season tonight, and just absolutely cracking for the second half.
It really had shades of the 2011 LA game here, where Danny Mwanga came in the second half and was just sort of like running down the left flank, and the crowd just got really, really energized as the game went on. And credit to them for coming out on a night where apparently the traffic was terrible, which I think we all had assumed, but. And we weren't sure if some of the seats were going to be filled in by Steven Gerrard, Liverpool people or whatever. And I don't think it necessarily really was that. You saw a lot of those jerseys, but there was a mob scene just out here while we were trying to come into the press room. But no, I didn't. I thought the crowd was great. Shades of some scenes in 2011. And the set piece right before Keegan scored, that's the loudest.
Yeah, that was
PP or that Talon has been since I guess this year.
Let's talk a little bit about set plays. We were talking about that right before we went on camera, and the improvement in set plays this season is just so noticeable. The set plays on corner kicks and the routines that the guys have, the little picks that are being set, the quality service in from Barnetta, or even when Allberg came in, he had a couple of good corner kicks.
Yeah, they've completely turned it around. Full credit to BJ Callahan, assistant coach, who's been tasked with trying to find ways for them to improve on that. Again, they had the routine tonight where they did the offside wall, and Tranquillo hooked it He actually hit it short. He hit it short side instead of trying to go over the wall, and just missed. I'd have to look back at the at Keegan's goal again, but just to know where to put it and where guys are comfortable coming, because it's not just when you set a pick or whatever, it gets you free, but if you can also place the ball in an area where that pick is going to be set or maximizes the distance that a guy has to turn and try to fight through it, that's another completely different thing. And it's hard to measure that, but Tranquillo seems to be hitting them kind of in the same place. So I wouldn't be surprised if there's a metric behind that too that they're working on.
Sure. You look at the LA attack, it's DeSantos, it's Zardes, it's Keane, it's Gerard. It's just all the way down the list. And we're not standing up here talking about the Union center backs. We're not talking about Josh Yarrow having a bad game. We're not talking about Richie Marquez being involved at anything, really. Mm-hmm. And how big is that for the Union?
Yeah, it was good. And even on the first goal, it's a really, really nice pass from Robbie Keane to get back in behind. But Fabinho recovers on it. He does scramble and turn around, and he gets beat then a second time. But the guy who's trailing him isn't covered by anybody because they flooded that side. They kind of overloaded. It was on a counterattack anyway. If you back it up, Brian Carroll, I think, missed a challenge further up the field, and Richie Marquez, I think, had stepped to Keane. So, maybe there was some positioning and tactical kind of things, but they weren't outmatched at any point. It wasn't like LA was peppering the goal with shots.
I can't remember Blake making too many saves at all. Early in the season, we're seeing him making saves against every team, but tonight I didn't think LA created all that much.
Yeah, right, because that was the story, wasn't it? That Andre was great, but why is he facing so many shots? Yeah, and then tonight he really didn't have a whole lot to do. The two shots, it looked like he couldn't really do much with them, but the fact that they're kind of now preventing chances in addition to just coming up with some ridiculous saves is a good step forward in
that. Jim Curtin mentioned in his press conference that we might see a couple guys that weren't even in the 18 feature in Montreal on Saturday. What do you think of what kind of lineup we're going to see? Do you think that there's any easy substitutions to make after what you saw tonight?
Warren Creavalle in at the 6, Roland Alberg starting hopefully, Ilsinho starting hopefully, maybe Fabian Herbers, or at least more minutes for him. But, I don't know. Do you switch a fullback out? Does Ray Gaddis get put in? Some of them are obvious, and then they're either really, really obvious or they're really tough.
Yeah. Fullbacks, I never like switching the back line. That might be me. Jim Curtin did mention that he was impressed with Gaddis against San Jose, so I wouldn't be surprised to see it, especially they might be a little bit further on the back foot away in Montreal, so you have a guy like Gaddis that is more of a defender's defender. Yeah,
maybe Pontius comes off. Maybe they switch up like 5 or 6 spots. But you're right. Yeah, normally you wouldn't try to touch the back line if you don't have to. I think even LA tonight, well, they had Ashley Cole coming off a suspension, so that's not a great example. But yeah, I'm interested to see because they haven't had to do this all year. So now this will kind of give us a precedent for in years past. Jim really hasn't.
There wasn't that much to
done.
Choose from
and he's been really averse to changing things up. But now that they actually do have depth this year, it'll be interesting to see what they do.
Yep. I think we'll wrap up there. Union is back at home next Friday, which I believe is May 20th, hosting DC United at 7 p.m. We'll be here for that. I'm Mike. That's Kevin. Thanks for watching.